It started as a dream, a challenge, a test of skill, strategy, and endurance. From the very first match, through the grinding battles, the impossible comebacks, and the heartbreaks, each moment has led us here. A road paved with triumph and defeat, where only the strongest survived. They have fought through the gauntlet, proving themselves against the best, rising above the rest. Now only a few remain. The stage is set, the lights are on, and history is waiting to be written. This is the final battlefield. Welcome to the Parallel Prime Championship, where legends are made.
Hi guys, welcome to the Road to Prime. Excelsior PH here for the Parallel Prime Championship. We're going to be interviewing one of the top 16 players that will be going to HyperX Arena over at Luxor Hotel over at Las Vegas. And we have here the first, of course, the top seed of the Parallel Prime Championship, Lambyseries. Lamby, how are you doing, man?
Hey Excelsior, what up? Thanks for having me on this interview. I'm excited to be going to Vegas. Excited to play against everyone else, and just in general, I feel like going to a LAN event just feels very different compared to competing online. You know, it's been a while for me, so yeah, just in general, very hyped up to be playing at the arena. Yes.
Yes. Is it going to be your first time going to the HyperX Arena, or have you been there before?
So I've been to Las Vegas before to compete as well in Hearthstone, but I've never been to the HyperX Arena, no. So yeah, definitely gonna be a first time for me.
Yeah, definitely first time as well for me. But of course, you know, we're having this interview so that people will get to know you. Even non-TCG people will get to know you as well. And we want to know your origin stories and tell us your TLDR story as a competitive TCG player. And of course, what team you're representing right now.
Okay, so it's a good thing that you mentioned the TLDR story, right? Because if I go through my whole story, the interview will be too long. So anyway, I started TCGs way back when I was like about 10 years old. I started playing in Yu-Gi-Oh, just casually. But I was like maybe like a boy genius of sorts. When I was 12 years old, I made like top 8 of nationals already for Yu-Gi-Oh. So that was kind of interesting at 12 years old. And then I disappeared for a bit, normal life. And at 18, I picked up Yu-Gi-Oh again. And this time I won nationals at 18. And then I went to Japan for Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championships in 2012, and then I got semi-finals there, got a 4th place in the world there. So I guess that was like the big break for me when it came to like realizing that I was really something in card games, right?
Yeah.
But the funny thing is when it comes to like CCGs, esports specifically, it was only until Hearthstone, which was a few years later, when I discovered Hearthstone, and I realized that like Hearthstone is just so up my alley, right? Firstly, it's on mobile as well, and then it's very convenient to play. And I also kind of I met you and a lot of the other competitors through Hearthstone as well. That was the one that really like rocketed my interest and career path to do esports in the card game genre. So competed in the Hearthstone Grandmaster circuit for about 2 years, along with some of the other players in this tournament as well. And then when that kind of ended, I went to become a streamer, and I did really well streaming Marvel Snap, which was also something that was it's like not fully competitive, but at the same time it's one of those games that piqued my interest and like fueled my passion for card games even further. And then last year I got the opportunity to try out Parallel, my first Web3 card game, and I think it just clicked for me, right? Because it's very competitive. It's they have all the good elements of a good esports system. The lore is great. The cards are beautiful. The gameplay is actually really super good. So that's like effectively my journey, and then like how I ended up in Parallel. So it's really multiple different card games, and then landing on Parallel right now, which is the card game that I'm playing the most.
Yeah, and you know, I want to know as well, what's your team currently that you're representing? For your Parallel.
Right, so I'm representing DevMons right now. It's quite interesting. I always make this little joke about DevMons because if you look at our team roster, it's because you guys all know Mr. Kvak, right? So I always make this little joke that DevMons feels like Mr. Kvex's football fantasy team because we are just like handpicked by him. We are quite literally some of the best players out there right now, and
Yeah.
we were handpicked by Mr. K. So very interesting concept there, and I think it's been really great to be in this team. Everyone's kind of mature, and everyone just like we all are very opinionated because we've all been there and done that before. But it's a very strong team. Let's just put it that way. And I think in terms of like player quality, even though we are not huge in numbers, our quality is very high.
Yes, amazing. Another representative from DevMons, and just a summary of where you've been or what TCGs you've been. Like we mentioned, Yu-Gi-Oh, Hearthstone, Marvel Snap, and Parallel TCG, and that's an amazing journey already. Like I want to ask as well. Like aside, you mentioned it a while ago. What piqued your interest over at Parallel TCG was the gameplay, the art, and whatnot, the competitive scene. Like out of those reasons, what is the best, or rather, what stands out the most that piqued your interest in Parallel TCG?
I think what got me started was the opportunity to try it, and then I liked the lore and the gameplay. But what got me to keep going, right, was the fact that they have a very comprehensive and well thought out and supported esports scene. Because I feel like because I've been doing card games my whole life, it's kind of low-key impossible to play a card game without feeling competitive anymore. And Parallel supports the competitiveness that I desire from a card game, right?
Yeah.
So I think what kept me going was the fact that the system is so well built to support a competitive player's dream. And right now we are here at going to Worlds soon, right? And I think this is like the combination of like what they've done, and I've been embracing and involved in the whole system for like the last whole year. And I mean, it's kept me going simply because I'm just very naturally excited to compete every single time. It's not like it's forced, it's just something that's kept me happy, per se.
Yeah, amazing. I like the drive that you're having here for Parallel TCG, especially the competitive scene. Like it's like a match made in heaven, so to speak. Oh, match made in space.
Match made in match made on Mars.
Match made on Mars, yeah, definitely. So yeah, okay. So you're a competitive player, and I want to know, of course, what is your largest achievement in Parallel TCG so far, with being the top 16 as the exception.
Wow, okay. Normally I can name you one, but I think there have been a few moments that have been really good for me. Okay, so I know you said don't mention the top 16, but okay, obviously the top 16 is a pretty good one, right? Like, so we got like 1 out of 16 chance to go to Worlds, yes. I've also did top 16 and top 8s of every single major last year. So those are great, right? Because top 16 gets you the prize card, top 8 gets you a bit of cash. So like doing well in the majors for sure. But I think the number one most standout one was way back. Some of you guys don't even know this because you may not have even started yet. The kickoff event by Paragon's DAO for the Parallel League. I think this was July or August, I can't remember. But that was the literal first event of the league, the public event, and I won that one. That one, I guess that was the one that felt, I would say, the best outside of Worlds for now, because it started off everything, right? The chain reaction of competitiveness, and because of the winning that tournament, also a lot of people got into my DMs and asked me what is Parallel, because like my usual following follows me for like Marvel Snap, Hearthstone, but then now when I won that thing back in July/August, people were like, "Yo, is this game legit?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is legit, man."
Yeah, definitely legit. Like I remember I was asking you about Token 2049 Singapore. Like we were talking about that your recent win, if I remember. Yeah, and it's like like a lot more people got in because they saw Lamby win, and it's amazing to have people like you who have a great influence in the TCG scene, have this amazing interest in Parallel TCG. So yeah, I would deem that also as one of your biggest achievements as well in Parallel TCG, like getting more players in. So anyway, okay, next, how have you been preparing for this championship? And I know this championship, like, very hard to get into, like lots of steps, leaderboard, lots of tournaments, and the last piece of the puzzle was getting to the knockout stage, getting to the 1 out of 16, as you mentioned a while ago. So how are you preparing for this championship?
Well, I think preparing for a tournament is in for me personally, it's like multiple parts, right? You got to prepare the knowledge, which is playing the game and understanding the interactions and knowing the decks and all that kind of thing. But you also got to prepare your mental, which is a severely understated thing, right? Because I think instead of talking a lot about like how I prepare and what I prepare, I think it's more important to talk about like why I value mental preparation the most as well.
Yeah.
Sorry to change your question a little
Yeah,
bit, but I think
it's
this is
okay.
very important because I think going into any tournament, especially at this level of like 16 players right now, I know every single one of these 16 players is like good, right? Like I know they all know how to play the cards, but I also know that if my mental strength is stronger than them, I might be able to come out on top simply because playing live in high stakes environments is very different, from
Yeah.
grinding the ladder, because grinding the ladder is sometimes semi autopilot. But then when it comes to a tournament, there's stakes, there's stress, there's cash on the line. People play differently under stress.
Yeah.
So I'm going into this tournament expecting everyone to know what they are supposed to do in terms of playing the cards, right? Like you cannot expect people to not know how to play the cards at a level like this. So I expect everyone to know what to do, but I also expect myself to be mentally very resilient. So in a sense, I'm preparing myself more on the mental side than anything else. And I think if I can get that in check, I will have a decent advantage over the field.
Yeah, I do agree with you, man. Like, it's a different monster. Like, playing online, playing on ladder, and then playing IRL. Like in IRL, like, there's a lot of different like factors that you have to take into, like the audience. If you're like the feature match, you will have to like zone them out, right? And then this is not your equipment that you're playing on, right? Like there's some kind of comfort factor that also goes into playing online, but IRL, it's a different monster. And I know, of course, you've been honing your mental fortitude over the different tournaments IRL as well. So, yeah, I hope that that is going to like be your edge for this tournament. And I know it's gonna be kind of your edge as well. And talking about the other competitors, right? I know there's like 15 other players that you're gonna be facing, and you said all of them are good. Are there any specific matchups or players you're particularly excited or nervous about facing?
I think okay, so I don't want to talk too much about players that didn't make it in this tournament, but the one player that I was the most nervous to play against, or I think would be the most difficult one, didn't make it into the top 16. So that's a sort of like whew, for me already. But with the players that are in here right now, there are a lot of seasoned competitors, right? There are Viper, there's like the YGG boys who've competed like in many different events in the past as well, that kind of thing. So I think in general, I would rather play against people that have very little live playing experience. Obviously for my own benefit, because they might potentially be easier to beat, right? So I think people that have less tournament experience would be people I would favor to play against. And of course, on that same token and same note, I would like to possibly avoid people that are similar experience to me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, honestly, I look at this field, I am confident I can do well. I believe they are all good players, but I believe that also I will come out on top regardless of who I face. Yes.
Yeah. So, man, that's amazing, right? Like, you would want to face people that have, like, in terms of IRL experience or like previous experience, they have not as much as you, but like you would be more cautious about the ones that have the same experience or same background as you. So yeah, it makes sense, right? And with this kind of like the prize pool is so high, you really have to like be at the top of your the peak performance that you're gonna be having in any matchup. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, man. But yeah, talking about the event, right? There have been like lots of days, lots of months that have been leading to this event. What has been your biggest challenge leading up to this event, and how have you overcome it?
So it's really interesting. I guess the normal answer would be saying something along the lines of maybe learning the decks, understanding the meta, practicing, getting the reps in. The funny thing is, those are things that I do very I would say second nature because
Mhm.
I'm a streamer, right? I stream card
Yeah.
games like for a living and stuff like that. So I just naturally get a lot of reps in for games. So I really know everything that's going on in the meta,
Yeah.
which is some people will need to put in extra effort to do that because they play naturally less games, right? Because knowledge
Yeah.
is power in a card game. So
Yeah.
I think I got that down naturally. But I think one of the things that I needed to, or I need to be doing now, which is also part of that whole mental game thing, is I feel like I just need to be able to be well rested. I know it's a very interesting thing whereby it's not really
Yeah.
practice, it's not really doing anything, it's actually doing less things,
Yeah.
right? I need to like sleep. So I think good sleep, well conditioned, prepared to go into the tournament day itself, I think that's most important for me right now because I mentioned this on many different places before, but my greatest enemy to my success is, I mean, I can say myself, but honestly, it's just to be not well rested. To be well
Yeah.
rested is, I feel, super important for mental game, for concentration, and to like quell all the nerves and stuff like that. So yeah, just be well rested.
Yeah. Okay. So like, yeah, I understand, man. Like a streamer with the streamer time, like you have a lot of you put in a lot of hours, like doing the stream. It's kind of sort of so to speak tiring at some point,
Mm.
and yeah, sometimes you don't get to rest because you need to do some of the other stuff. But yeah, it's you're also going to be traveling to another time zone, so that's going to be
Yes.
another challenge, or another challenge for you. So yeah, I do agree with you, man. Like I hope you get some rest though,
I'll
especially
try. I'll try.
especially the day before, man. Like oh yeah, oh man. Okay, so looking forward, man. Like this is the scenario. Let's imagine this, man. The
Okay.
scenario: you are announced the Parallel Prime champion. What would this championship mean to you and your competitive journey as a parallel TCG player?
Right, so I do say a lot that like I intend to win, I will win, all that kind of thing. But also at the same time, I've been trying my best not to actually think of what to do after I win because there's a difference between being confident and being overconfident. You know,
Yeah.
so I was trying my best not to think of situations where after I've won, what I would have done. But since you asked me the question, I
Yeah.
guess so the question is basically how I would feel and what I would do after I win, right? For example. I would say it's a decent amount of money. Yes, it's really a lot of money. I think that's one of the things, right? You need to figure out what you want to do with this money. And as I grow older in life, my answers to these kind of things usually just to be what used to be like buy stuff when I was younger. But I guess now it's not just buy stuff; it's also invest in stuff. Yeah. So obviously not gonna go into the details there, but like definitely gonna take some of this money and invest in stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna obviously treat myself a little bit and still buy some stuff. But yeah, I think other than the monetary side, I would also say like the winning this thing, or even actually just being at Worlds right now is very good for branding, you know, because as a
Yeah.
content creator slash competitor myself, any kind of publicity is good publicity. Okay, no, I wouldn't say any kind of publicity is good publicity, but publicity is publicity, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's intended or not. So I feel like being in the position at Worlds and potentially maybe winning Worlds, right? It's just very good for branding as a content creator. Like you can do so much when there is eyeballs on you, you know. And I've learned that through like a few years of content creation. So I'm very hyped for obviously the cash, but also at the same time the exposure dollars,
Yeah.
which is another form of cash, you know. So
Yeah.
it's very interesting, and yeah, I guess winning would put me on the map even harder than I am already right now.
Yeah, man. Like, dude, that's amazing. And you know, I'm looking at your background right now. You're home. You're at home right now,
Yes, yes.
dude. You need a lot. You need a lot more figurines. Buy the whole set, man. Buy the whole set.
There's some more on the other side, but like I think I might just need a bigger camera or a bigger room, you know. Maybe that's what the money can do for me, right? I'll just
Yeah.
turn my room into an entire I will never leave this room gaming then. That'll be the
Yeah,
best.
yeah. That's right. That's like this is the Parallel Prime Championship room. Here, I made
Yeah.
this room right after winning the Parallel Prime
Yeah.
Championship, and you know, thank you for making this happen. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that's amazing right there, man. Like I think even though Lamby doesn't want to think about what he's gonna be doing with all the prizes and all the all the exposure, he kind of knows at the back of his mind that everything is gonna be coming right there when it comes to him, or if it comes to him. Okay, so there you go. With that, thank you again to Lamby for giving us this interview, or the time for this interview. And do you have any words for players who want to try out Parallel TCG, and also for those players who want to try out competitive Parallel TCG?
Okay, so firstly, I believe Parallel TCG might be the card game, or even like one of the games right now in the space with the best possible esports ecosystem, right? So, if you're interested in competing in esports or in card games in general, come to Parallel. The gameplay is unique. The art is beautiful. The lore is great. I really think it's one of those games whereby, so I use this phrasing a lot because this is literally what I see happen in the last 1 year.
Yeah.
I've introduced people to the game, and people also, yes, they've just come to the game by themselves. It's a very one-way street thing. Like,
Yeah.
the moment you try it, you kind of don't leave. I've noticed this with the pro players and with even some of the casual players as well.
Yeah.
Well, the moment you try Parallel, you just love the game.
Yeah.
I think the only people that like maybe didn't really enjoy it was the people that didn't really get into the game, because once you get into the game, I think most of the people, they don't leave. So I feel like you really need to give Parallel a chance, try out the game, and I think you will like the game. It's complex and simple at the same time. I think Parallel is one of those games whereby the barrier to entry is low. It's very
Yeah.
easy to like get cards and very easy to start playing and learn the game. But then to be great at the game, it's not easy at all.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the beauty of the game as well, right? Low barrier to entry, high barrier to be great. Yeah, and I think if you like to compete and if you like space card games, you like space, you like card games, you like this kind of beautiful art and the lore and all that kind of thing, try out the game. And I tried it out and I loved it, so that's why I'm still here.
I like the way you said it, man. Low barrier to entry. I forgot the last
Low
part.
barrier to entry, high barrier to greatness.
Yeah,
Right, that sounds
like,
better.
yeah.
It sounds better than what I said
Let's
previously.
let's put it let's make a meme out of it. Like I want to put your picture right there. Low barrier to entry, high barrier to greatness. Yeah, let's make it like a black and white picture of you. Something like that, right? Like it's a quotable
Then
quote.
we put the One Piece bounty there as
Yeah,
well, right?
yeah. Definitely, man. Anyway, man, amazing. Thank you for your time and for your insights and for giving us a brief history about yourself and everything that you do with regards to Parallel TCG. And this has been one of the episodes for the Road to Prime. We had Lamby, one of the top seed of the top 16, over at the Parallel Prime Championship. Watch him over at Vegas. If you're gonna be there, guys, visit us over at the HyperX Arena, over at the Luxor Hotel. And if you're not gonna be there, you can always watch online. Okay, we're gonna be streaming the whole event online, and it's gonna be coming over 2 days, guys. So you can definitely watch that. And I hope you're following the Parallel League socials and Parallel TCG as well. Thank you for watching. This has been Excelsior PH and Lambyseries. Bye, and see you on the next one.
Goodbye, guys.